And we're live! Woohoo! Welcome along to the live stream, everybody. If you're joining us for the first time, hello! Welcome to Adorama TV Live. If you are joining us for the first time, let me know in the comments. Always good to know. I had a quick look before we went live. I can see we've got a few people here. Fantastic. It's a bit early, but you know, it's never too early to ask for a thumbs up, and I will forget later on. So for those that haven't met me before, hello, I'm Gavin Hoey. I'm one of the presenters right here on Adorama TV, and we are live. If you enjoy live stuff, we also have the Adorama events page as well, which you can go and watch another live in 3 hours time. So yeah, we're just live all the time. I'm not here on my own. You can see them and you can hear them on the Super Switcher. It's Freya, and on the comments, it's Sam. Woohoo!
Hello. Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? Yeah, we have quite a lot of people here. Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah, we do. We do. We have lots of people
Fantastic.
here. Yeah. Would you like to know where some people are from? I'm not going to say everyone.
The edited highlights, yes.
Okay.
Alphabetically.
I'm not doing it alphabetically. So we've got Sweden. We've got Alberta in Canada. We have a Niagara Falls in Canada. That one always leaps out on me. We have Virginia. We've got Steve, who's in McDonald's.
Anything for the free Wi-Fi, Steve.
That's it.
Yeah.
Germany, Florida, Austria, Romania. Loads of people here.
Fantastic. Oh, thank you very much. Really appreciate everyone giving up their time for this. Hopefully you'll find this educational. I mean, it's never really educational. It's entertaining. Let's go with entertaining. So before we bring the amazing Sophie in to be the model, let's talk about what we're going to be doing, because today we're going to be doing cheap fabric. Yes. Something very close to my heart, because I have a lot of this cheap fabric and using it to create different backdrops and yeah, a little bit of textured backdrops. And at the end, if we get time, I'll show you how you can use fabric to get some interactive images with your model as well. But I thought I would start by hanging this up before I bring Sophie in, because yeah, anything could go wrong. So we're going to start with way back in my very, very first studio, which was actually the garage next to my house. Garage. Anyway, at the back of the garage was some really old, beat-up garage doors. Well, a door, just one, really rusty, really horrible, and I wanted to cover it up. So I bought some cheap fabric to cover it up. Nowadays, I'd probably say, oh, look, rusty door, brilliant, let's use that. But back in the day, that's what I wanted to do. And I got the wrong fabric. So I don't want you to make the mistake that I did. If you are just buying cheap fabric to cover up a bad background, I got you covered, because that's exactly where we're going to begin. So this is jersey fabric. It's the stuff they make t-shirts out of. It's stretchy, and that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for just a plain fabric to cover up an area and give you a plain background, look for stretchy t-shirt type fabric. There we go, first useful tip. I'm not going to guarantee there'll be any more. Right, let's hang this up. Also, when you're looking for plain fabric, get the longest length that you can. So I've got, I think this is 1.4 meters, which is some feet. Couldn't tell you what. I could probably do the maths. But maths and climbing up a ladder, I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Oh yeah, I'm going to be up and down a ladder a lot. Where am I on that camera? Hello. Up and down a ladder a lot on this. So the sound effects are going to be fun, aren't they?
So you asked who was here first time. I've seen a few dash by, but here's one. So Smooth operator. Hello from Poland, first time live, but I know no flash, no picture, and light strainer.
Oh.
Hey, you come with knowledge. That's great.
That's great.
And there was another. Oh, will I ever be able to? Oh yeah, here we go. Ben PG. Hello from Sandhurst in Berkshire. First time watching live after many, many views of the recording.
Smash it. It's nice to have some new people. Right. Sorry about the noise. Okay, let's bring the amazing Sophie in. Give it up for Sophie. Woo! Sophie's going to be the amazing model for this. And we're going to start with this incredibly no expense spared background, covering up what, if you imagine, is a really bad background. Imagine that white wall isn't just a white wall, that actually it's, I don't know, just awful. So that's kind of the idea. Now, I've done this incorrectly because we like to do things incorrectly. I'm very good at doing things incorrectly. That's one of my key skills as an educator. You'll find that. So first things first, what's the very first picture I'm going to take, though? I think our friend from Poland's beaten everybody to it, haven't they? Yeah. Okay, so whilst you're doing that, I'm going to dial in some default settings. Stick it in the chat. What's the first picture? 250th of a second flash sync speed for this camera. Today I'm using a OM system OM1 and f5.6 for a reasonable depth of field on this particular camera size, and ISO 200, the native ISO for this camera. Let's just make sure the flash is turned off. It is. No flash. Oh, no picture on the screen. Oh, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
So one for Soph. Thank you. I lost it. I got it, and then we've had lots of comments. So Basie said, I want her shoes. We all love the shoes.
Velvet Martens.
Okay, there you go. I said they'd ask you questions. Okay, there we go. So that's where we're going to begin. Basically, no flash, no picture. That's what we're after. Can't really see anything. There's a little bit coming through, but for the purposes of demonstration today, I'm quite happy that that's enough of nothingness. That, if you've not come here before, you've no idea what on earth I'm talking about. That means the camera can't see any light other than the light I'm going to put into the scene, which is going to come from flashpoint flashes. So everything you see from now on is me, my choice, my mistakes, my successes. Let's hope there's more of one of those than the other.
Yeah, by the way, they were all on it. No flash, no picture. Yeah,
all so good.
Very, very good.
Okay, so next thing to do is to make this flash match my camera settings. Sophie, I'm going to pop this near your chin. We could do trial and error, we could do TTL, or we could just get the flash meter and make it match my camera settings. I'm going to pop this near your chin. Of course, it always ends up a third under. You move it up a third, you go a third over. Okay, cool, there we go. So, let me just show you what I've got. So I have made my camera and my flash have the same exposure. So that is how much light is reaching Sophie, and it's exactly the same as my settings on my camera. So I know that the exposure on Sophie at this point is going to be correct. Well, that's, may not be right, but it's going to be correct. Right is a different term. Okay. And I forgot to press the button on there. Bear with me, one more. There we go, cool. There we go. Okay, so we have the correct exposure, and that is, we're off to a flying start. This is supposed to be the bad picture, Sophie. That's the bad one. Okay, I've got to make them better than that. That's the plan. So what I'm going to do is get a background light and start to add in a background light. So I know I've got a dark background. No flash, no picture. Well, if I add flash, I can create a picture on this lovely, lovely, lovely grey background that I've got, that I spent so much money buying. Let's see if it's lovely and really, okay. Is it actually on as well? I'm going to turn that light on. And I'm going to turn it up a little bit. It's sort of on, but I think I could do just a little bit brighter. Okay, there we go. So this is what happens. If you get a fabric and you use it as a background, you end up with this kind of wrinkly, it's not very nice, is it, really? So this is why you want stretchy backgrounds, because I'm going to stretch out the creases. Now, to do it, you could use, well, pretty much anything. My favourite is this. How am I going to show you this? Yeah, that is a grip arm from a C-stand. That is also a grip arm from a C-stand. And if you get the flashpoint ones, they have little threads, and you can get yourself a little kind of thread thing to join them together. I've left links in the video description so you can sort of get an idea of what I'm using. And my plan is to hang the bottom edge of the fabric off these double grip arms. They're about 1 meter long each, so it gives me about 2 meters total reach. So put one end on first, then push it out as far as you can and clip on the other end. Doing it this way will stretch the fabric out.
So Gunther said, probably easier than ironing it.
Oh, goodness, yeah. To be honest, I had some other fabric I was going to use. I had a go at ironing it before we went live. I gave up. I really did. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so here we go. It's not perfect, but it is a vast improvement. See the difference? There's a couple of bits if I was spending time and doing this properly, I'd go and sort that bit out. You can do that by putting light stands at the edges and stretching it out. There is another way you can deal with that. I mean, post-processing. But there's a third way you can deal with it. The third way is to Daniel Norton this up. Okay, think more like Daniel. There we go. The creases are gone. Yeah, crease is gone. It's kind of a throwaway comment, but that is a very true thing. You can do that. So the advantage of a smooth background is there's so many possibilities with this. This could be in front of absolutely nothing. We could have a garage door. We could have a wall that doesn't fit the look you're going for. Once you've got a plain, smooth background, you can do all sorts of things. So let's start by turning the background light off. Hang on, which is that button. Okay, here we go, Sophie, quick little test photo, beautiful. Now if I turn the background light off, no flash, no picture, really nice, beautiful, one more. I'm also thinking I might just move this light around a little bit because I like a little bit of edgy lighting. I might just trip over the light stand as I go. I don't think anyone noticed, actually. I don't have to worry about the creases anymore. Notice that? I don't know if anybody put that in as an option. One way of getting rid of the creases is don't light the background. So my very first backgrounds were a sheet of white and a sheet of black. The sheet of black, perfect. Never had any problems because black is great for hiding wrinkles. The white, I never got a clean white ever. There was always wrinkles and creases. If only I'd have known this.
Got a few questions.
Far away.
Gunther asked, are you using Capture One for the tethering?
Nope. It's easy, isn't it? Are you going to ask me what I think it's called Fast Picture Viewer. It was a tethering piece of software I got a long time ago. It must be 8 years ago, but I like it because it has this little option to show the details in the corner.
And Alex said he didn't see this the little thread in the description.
Unless they haven't updated it, so I haven't checked. I forgot to check. Let's see. I can check. I actually have this here. It could be that Adorama haven't updated it because I did give the details rather late in the day, which is usually what happens. I'll have a little look. Yeah, I will get back to you and make sure that's on there. Because, oh, there it is. Look, yeah, flashpoint stud with female quarter 20 to 3/8.
I don't think that's what you called it.
That's no, that's what I've just read it out. I know. No, it's photography. We have words that make us giggle, but we don't because we're professionals, aren't we? Yeah.
Dean had put wooden dowels would work.
Yep, wooden dowels would work as well. So if you don't have that, this is what I often use. Just a little bit of timber, just an off cut or a bit left over from a project. Not so much weight, that's the only difference with that.
And John said used to use a steamer once it was hanging to get rid of the wrinkles.
Yeah, condensation in the room. I don't like smoke and condensation. I find it very frustrating. I love smoke. Anyway, so black, we can make black, but we can also make the background white. So the same background, if I throw this on, well, let's go full power. Why not? Give or take a little bit. Okay, quick little test photo. I don't have to worry about the creases if I can blast the creases with enough light. All right, they're still slightly there in the corner, but nonetheless. So I can make this background go white. Let's take a few photos. Now, if we had the time and we were doing this kind of setup, I'd set this white background correctly. But as it is, quick little demo, beautiful, last one. Good stuff.
So Tracy asked what white balance you're using.
That's a good question, Tracy. I actually don't know. Whatever it was on when I turned the camera on, what's it on? It's on 5400K, which, yeah, I usually go 52, but I doubt anyone would notice if I go 52. There we go. Let's do 52. Yep, looks basically the same. If anything, it's I actually quite like it warm on those pictures. I'm using the white balance that I think looks right. Okay, so we can make the background go black. We can make that same background go white. We can make it go grey just by reducing the power down to, well, when in doubt, 1/32 power. Let's try that. And it's going to have a bit of a vignette to it, But yeah, that kind of works. Let's move it a little bit. Gorgeous. Love it. I'll Daniel this up a little bit. Here we go. It's going to be a phrase now. Okay, cool. So really nice. You can have a nice little graduated grey thing going on there. That works really nicely. And of course, because it's grey, we can gel it. We could add some gels. So, question for the chat. Okay, chat, you've got to work. What colour? What colour would you like? I've got them all for you. Yes. So these are the grid and gel kit for the AD200, Evolve 200. And they come with a blue and some other colours, a green and a red, and the only one that actually works in the kit is the blue. The other colours are terrible, but if you want the other colours, just get yourself some normal gels and a pair of scissors, and then you just have to cut them to size to fit the little ring attachment thing.
Would you like some answers? They're very quick tonight. They must have
I was stalling because we had a bit of a gap, but...
so we've got purple, teal,
teal,
purple,
oh nice, I can do teal.
Green, blue, purple. There's a lot of purple. Blue.
Other colours
orange,
are available.
Purple.
There's only purple.
Blue,
okay, so
purple
what I'm
or red.
hearing is teal. Or somebody mentioned, well, it's not quite teal, but here we go. There we go. Okay, oh, where are you? I've moved the camera. So I can have blue. That's not really teal, is it? All right, purple. Hang on. Give them what they want, Sophie. That's the answer, isn't it? Hello.
Sorry, I put my elbow. I put my elbow on the switch.
Did you nod off?
Yeah. I whacked it.
I've never done anything like that, ever. Never ever have I accidentally put the wrong thing on. I really messed up with the Olympus one the other day. I'm not going to tell you what happened, but oh my goodness. Anyway, purple. Let's try purple. There we go. Purple, tick. Yeah, let's do a couple of purples. And then we're going to put a bit of red in there because Sophie's got red lips. And you can adjust the strength as well. You're not limited to one. You can take the power right down. So let's go down to 256 power. And notice how much richer it is. So I was at 132nd power. I've come down 2 stops, 3 stops. And I'm getting a much richer shade of tone, which I think if I go for the red, you have to make that sound. That's important. Makes you look like a professional if you do that. Yep. Absolute professional, me. So this should be kind of a real red colour. Let's just see where we're at. Yeah, have a little look at this. So this, I think we can go down. So I'm using the Evolve 200 Pro Mark II. So I can actually go down to 5/12 power.
So you had a colour request for aubergine by David, and I think that was quite close.
I think, yeah. I'm glad you said that because I didn't know what colour aubergine was. Sort of purpley, isn't it? Okay, cool. Oh yeah, okay, we should do some other things because we've got other things to do. So that little cheap piece of fabric, which looks terrible, is doing a good job. I'm just going to take this last little picture because this is really important. You should always take one of these, just so you can see what's going on. It's super useful as a behind-the-scenes reminder of the setup. Okay, that's pretty cool. Right, let's change this out.
Karen's cat really likes that sound, you know, with you wibbling
with the wobbly, yeah. Right, okay, so I'm going to swap a few things around. So if you've got any questions, now's a good time to get them in. Because this takes me a moment or two to do.
So Alex has asked, so the fabric is neutral grey?
Well, I don't think I'd call it neutral grey. If you were buying this, and you can buy beautiful grey backgrounds from Westcott and Manfrotto and Flashpoint, Glow probably do them as well, and they'll be proper grey. I would say this has a bit of a bluish tint to it. But the cost was, I can't remember, it's like 2 or 3 pounds per square meter or per meter, which is probably $2 or $3. So it was relatively inexpensive for what you get.
There's a question for Soph. What do you like most about working with the Hoey family?
Oh, hang on. Hang on.
I always feel so welcomed here. And you are like a little family with me. You're a whole family.
It's a whole family, isn't it?
And I'm sure you're the same with Chloe as well.
All right, you can pay her now. Now you can pay her, that's fine.
Yeah, feel at home. It's very nice.
And a nice comment from Photog Fix Photo. Sophie looking very sophisticated. Very good.
Love it.
Okay, right. Next background. I've been walking all over this one. So fabric comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes. This is the rug from the hallway of my studio. It used to be in Freya's bedroom, so it's probably covered in makeup and things. But it's been in my my hallway for quite a while. It is, well, I did give it a clean in as much as I brushed it. So we're going to use this as a background. Because
We've also got lots of
backgrounds can be
questions now. It's the time delay, isn't it?
anything. It is 20 seconds. Yeah, far away. I've got to hang this up anyway. So.
Okay, so Rick asked, have you ever used a magnet system for hanging a backdrop? I mean,
Yes.
I can answer that one. Yes,
You bought it for me.
I did. I can't remember what it was called though.
It's the Manfrotto magnetic background support. I've actually got 2 of them. That's how useful they are. Very good little things they are.
Actually, I could use it as well because there's no clipping and all that sort of stuff. Basically, I was. Thank you. What would the difference be if the fabric was white that you'd used previously?
Yeah, if the fabric was white, then you won't get the richness of colour unless you have a lot of space. So basically, when you do that no flash, no picture thing, if your background doesn't go totally black, you're never going to get a rich, deep, gelled colour. You're never going to get a dark colour, and obviously you're never going to get a black because the no flash, no picture is really showing you what your shadows are going to be, your maximum shadows. So you can do it with a white wall or a white piece of fabric. You just need to go way further back. And although you can't see it, we can't. There's a physical wall blocking the view. Okay, something like that. So what I've got is the rug hung up on the wall. Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. Yeah, glad that worked. Now, ideally, I'd hang it the other way round, but I don't have a piece of something to hang it easy and, yeah, so we're going to go vertical for these. And, yeah, you can stay sat down for a minute, so I will move you shortly. So let's frame you back up again. Because if we're going to do anything, you might as well stick with where you got to. Where were you? Begin where you ended up. Because it's always quicker to start where you stopped. I'll take the red gel off though, I don't think we need that. It's probably superfluous. So let's see how this looks. Okay, hey, that's all right. That is the rug off my floor. Literally the rug from the floor.
I was literally wiping my feet on that this morning.
Well, everybody was, yeah, we all were.
I was really worried when he put it down because I thought he was going to get you to sit on it. And I was like...
Although, no. no, definitely not. Okay, so that's quite okay. It's not bad. There's a depth of field thing going on there. It's f5.6, remember? So even on a micro four thirds, there is depth of field there, but it's not that much. So I'm going to take off this lens and replace it with something that's a little bit more, fast aperture, shallower depth of field. And now to make this work, I need to adjust a few things. Let's put it to f2. And also, let's not be an aperture priority because I forgot I'd moved that. And let's pop up the shutter speed. And high-speed sync should kick in automatically with this transmitter. Now I could meter this out. I've got a flash meter that will do it, but if you don't, then you're now into trial and error area. So I reckon it's a little bit dark on Sophie. So let's take that up slightly. There we go. That's pretty good. So now we have a much shallower depth of field. And that's nice, isn't it? That's okay. That is. How far back can I go before I run out of rug? Perfectly. All right. I mean, as backgrounds go, you'd pay a lot for that. The rug on my floor, it's available for hire. You know, that's not bad. You've got to try these things. Try them. Don't tell anyone if it doesn't work. That's my general advice. Okay, Sophie, if you want to hop up for me, we'll get all this out the way and make it a bit more interesting.
So a couple more questions.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe asked, do you ever use a backdrop with a paint scene on it? And do you worry about it not looking realistic if you do?
Yeah, I've done those before, and that's exactly what happens. So I've got some from Manfrotto that have like a printed concrete effect. Now that's okay. I've also got some from another company that I won't name because they're not very good, which had more of a brick effect, and those were terrible. So I've tried them. Some work better than others. The more realistic the background, the less realistic it seems to be, because then you have to start lighting your subject light the background. So you've got to bear that in mind. If it's a real background, think about the lighting. Where were we? We're going to put that there. Get rid of this.
And there was a question. James asked, if you could have any colour backdrop, what colour would it be, and would it be paper or fabric?
It would be grey, and it would be either. So paper is nice. It is usually smooth, but it gets damaged after a while. Fabric, you have to stretch it and decrease it. I mean, there are some great. I've got the X-Drop background system from Westcott, which is amazing. That is just like magic. So if you're in the budget for that sort of thing rather than this, then that would be a great middle ground to go for. Okay, so I reckon we can do something a little bit more creative with this. So Sophie, if you want to go stand on that circle for me. Absolutely, yeah, look at that. That's amazing. How did that get there? That was where the chair was. Okay, and let's pop this in.
So Tracy's put, I would pay £250 for the original Hoey rug. Well, I think that's pretty much sold there then, Tracy. I'll get that packaged up.
Get her email address. I'll sign it for you. In fact, I'll get Sophie to sign it for you. There we go. Everyone can sign it. We'll all sign it. Okay, so I reckon you're around about a little bit closer than you were before. So I've moved the background light. So it's not directly behind Sophie, but just off to the side. Okay, that's a little bit kind of... however, we can fix this. We can make this better. Because it is a real physical thing, it has real physicality. It's not a painting, it's not a picture, it's not flat. It actually has depth. I can use an edge light to make that a bit more interesting. So let's get a grid. Let's make that, if you were here last month, wasn't it? We did grids quite extensively. Go back and watch the live on that when this is finished. You've got 2 hours between this one finishing and the next one starting, so just enough time to watch the live. Okay, and let's see. Put a grid on, I'll need to up the output of the light. Let's guess that. I'm actually going to turn the one on Sophie off so I can just figure out the background. Sometimes it's easier to do that, just to turn one off so you can see what's going on. The minute I have more than one light, that's kind of how I go. Okay, just working out the background, Sophie. Nothing to see here. This is where an assistant would be super useful.
We're busy.
Oh. And the assistant wouldn't kick it on the way out, having just adjusted it either. I don't know, maybe they do. I don't know how assistants work.
Dave asks, could you please tell me the name of the tiny reflector that Gavin has attached to his AD200?
Yes, it is. Did I put it on the list? Yes, it is the flashpoint reflector for Evolve 200. Check out the gear links in the video description. Dave. Right, Sophie, if you want to look towards the light. So I've turned that light back on. I've turned it up slightly. There we go. And this is working quite nicely. Now, I'm a little bit short. It's those high heels you've got. Yeah, I know. Beautiful. So this is working quite nicely. Beautiful. Rug off the floor. A little bit of edge lighting creeping across from behind. Shallow depth of field, F2. I think, am I still at F2? I am still at F2. Sophie, just walk to the front edge of the softbox. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Right, and now turn to the side. Watch how this changes there. I don't know if you saw how far Sophie moved. It's a 65 centimetre, 25-inch softbox. So she moved about 25 inches. Okay. Here we go. Okay. One edge of the softbox, other edge of the softbox. Much more dramatic, much more, much more going on there. I kind of like that. I might just get you to take a baby step back where you were. There you go.
Alex asked, is the light in the reflector double diffused?
The light in the reflector, the softbox is double diffused. The light in the reflector is not. 1 second, Sophie, I got carried away, pressed a bunch of buttons. Thought I'll just make it black and white. There we go. So that little background is just doing enough, just enough, just to lift Sophie away from the darkness. Oh, I'm a little bit close and this is not a zoom lens. Whoops. There we go. Zoom with your feet. Beautiful. Excellent. Okay. So that's really nice. I like that. That worked ever so well as a range of different options. But we can take this idea a little bit further. So once again, if you've got questions, get them in because I'm about to take all this apart and change it. Let's do this. Surprisingly heavy, this rug. I didn't realise. I suppose that's why they make rugs heavy, so they don't move around so much. But there we go.
So, had some love for the photos there. Kirsty said loving the black and white film effect. And Alex said, yeah, the light looks very soft. Oh, Gunther's spot, smoke? Question mark.
So a little bit about the softness of that. Because they're double diffused, that does not make them any softer. So the diffusion will make it softer, but the double diffusion doesn't. It's the final surface that your light leaves that is the governing factor. It is only that which creates softness because it's the size of that that matters. The double diffusion inside just means that the light that hits that final surface is more even across it. Okay, right. I'm roasting. I don't know about anybody else.
So you wanted questions?
I did, yeah.
Oh.
Hang on, before we give the questions, I'll just explain what I'm doing, then I can hang it up.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay, so no expense spared. I actually bought something for this demo. I bought this, and I didn't get this so Sam can have a lovely, comfy, fleecy throw, what do you call it, blanket? Blanket.
It does look really snuggly, doesn't it? Yeah.
So this is a blanket. I don't know if you can see, but it's got like a, other way. There we go. It's got like a texture, sort of ribbed, almost corrugated texture to it, which is why I bought it. So I'm going to hang that up and use that as a background. It's 2 meters by some more. I don't know how many. So I'm going to have to hang some more. I'm going to have to hang it on the high one. Right, sorry, go for it. Questions?
I've forgotten where I was now. So Mark asked, how would you graduate the light on the background?
So that's feathering. So if you want to do some feathering, we have quite a few videos on that on Adorama, including some for myself. So you'd set up your light, preferably with a grid if you're in a small space like I am, and then just turn it away from the background, and you'll notice how it graduates really quickly. The more you point the light straight at the background, the more even the background is lit. The more you turn it so it's diagonally towards the background, the more graduated it becomes.
And what is the best background colour for headshots?
Depends what you want to go for, I suppose. White, grey, black, textured, old wall. There's so many permutations. Ask your subject, what are they looking for? If they're not sure, grey. Then it can be anything you like on the day.
Rebecca also asked about the bar that you're clipping everything on.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it attached to the wall or hanging from wires or something?
Well, I'm going to stick it on again. So Rebecca, hold that thought. Stay tuned. How's that look? Shall I lean across and do this super dangerously? Yeah. Because that's what you do when you're a photographer.
Eric's put, Gavin, no sandbag on the ladder.
Yeah, I don't think that would just make it heavier to move. Right, so if you missed the beginning, this is the piece of metal I'm using to weight down the bottom of the fabric.
How wide is it?
How wide? Hang on. That wide. Same as your screen. Oh, I love my audience. I think they're about 1 meter, so about 3 feet, somewhere in between those two. And in the middle, I've got a little adapter that converts the male to female threads. I think that's the way around it is. I've left some links in the video description so you can get an idea. Right, let's pop that on. So I'm not going to stretch out the background because I don't want these vertical lines to become less vertical. I don't want them to diverge. I just want it to pull flat. Something like that. Did you find a camera angle with that one? Yeah. There you go. Thanks, Sophie. Perfect. Yeah, there we go. So that is just hanging down there. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, that one works, doesn't it? Great stuff. Okay, so using the theory of where we ended up was where we should begin. Do you want to stand in your circle? Put the light back in behind. Take the grid out. Boing. Quality, that is real quality. Okay, I'm going to pop that up against Sophie's back, more or less. And let's take a photo. Let's see if it still works. We're in black and white because I didn't change it. Okay, we'll try that again. Yeah, it's a little bit dark on Sophie, so trial and error. There we go. So, why would you want a stripy background? It's all right, but I spent quite a bit of money on that. I mean, I get a free blanket at the end of it. It's not the end of the world, is it? But
who gets a free blanket?
It's actually the businesses, so I think we'll have to leave it here for for future model use. Although maybe if I make it better, I won't want to give it back. Let's do that. Let's make it better. So, a few things I could do. First of all, this is textured. It's not smooth. There are lumps and ridges. So let's use edge lighting, directional lighting. Directional lighting will allow me to highlight the ridges by creating shadows in the dips. And because I don't really need a depth of field that shallow, let's add a bit more normality to my setup. So reset f5.6, 250th of a second. Test picture, here we go. F11.
I'm just going to read this comment. 'Cause it's
You
quite
read
funny.
away.
Mark said, was that for his punishment as a child, stand in your circle?
What do you mean as a child? Still is.
Yes, someone help me, I'm stuck in a circle.
Okay, here we go. Quick little test photo. Okay, so a little bit bright on the background. I'm going to adjust that. Okay on Sophie, but we can see, here we go, that kind of works. Do you know I'm going to put that grid back in? But you can see how much more detail and texture and life there is in that background. Let's just throw up a little bit of an angle on here as well. Yeah, that might work better. Oop. If I knock the light over, Sophie, catch it. That's super important. Yeah, you're ready. I would say I've never done that before, but has happened. Okay, So now we're getting somewhere. So that background that was a little bit kind of, it was all right. Nothing wrong with it. It was fine. Suddenly starts to feel a little bit more urban, a little bit more dramatic. It's a little bit dark on Sophie. At least that's my impression. The flash meter will tell you the accurate exposure, but only you can decide what the right exposure is. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. That's not bad. You know what would work better, Sophie? Go right up against the wall. Let's turn the front light off. Okay, so I'm just going to leave on the backlight, and it now becomes the key light. So, can you see through the holes of the grid?
Yes.
Okay, so if you can see through the holes of the grid, light will reach her eyes. How much light is a question. Let's find out. Pretty good. I think we want just a little bit of fill light, just to fill in those shadows a little bit. If only I had another light. Oh, I do. Okay, there we go. We have another light coming in. How's that? Now that wants to be a little bit lower. It needs just a little bit of light. So let's see, let's turn it on. Let's put it all the way down to 128th power. Just a small bit of fill, just to throw something into the shadows. Almost nothing. And if you're not quite sure how much light you're throwing into the shadows, and I never am, turn the other light off. This is just the shadows. So this is just the shadows. Now, Sophie's wearing a black top. It's a black top that's never going to have any detail in it unless we throw tons of light at it. But what I'm interested in is the shadow side of Sophie's face, her ear. Light will never reach that ear. It's not going to go all the way through her ears. It isn't going to reach her ear. We have to put our own light there if we want to get something in that part of the picture. Okay? You see how that just lifts that side of her face. Hey, that's fun. That works. Oh, if you've got any questions, of course, we are live. Stick them in the chat.
So, Alex asked, is f5.6 your preferred f-stop for portraits with full frame sensors?
With full frame sensor, no. So it's not the sensor, it's the lens that you have to use with a cropped camera like I'm using here. So I'm using a 12 to 40 millimeter. That equates to a 24 to 80 millimeter, and it's that 80 millimeter that would give me a shallower depth of field rather than 40 millimeters that I'm using. So if I'm using a full frame camera, I would want to be at f8 or f11 when I'm actually at f5.6 on a crop sensor, micro four thirds. That's another video altogether.
Brad said, another light. Sounds like you can charge for that.
I'm not Daniel. I can't do that. Let's put it in black and white. We haven't put it in black and white. What are we thinking? These are definitely black and white. Scream black and white, don't they?
Yeah, actually, David had said, could you put a gel to throw on to the background?
Maybe.
But not in black and white.
Yeah. Probably not now because we're getting a bit short of time. But, you know, yeah, you could. And this is just a cheap background. So this background is one of the cheapest blankets I could get. They had the same blanket that was more expensive. That looked the same. They're using the same pictures. You know what these websites are like. I went with the cheapest of them all. And it works really nicely. Do you want to come out of that? We'll mix it up. How are we doing for time? We've got 15 minutes. Time goes quick, doesn't it, eh? Doesn't time fly by? So, what other fabric can we add to this? Fabric comes in all...
Fabric stays attached to a box.
Stuck in a box. Fabric comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes. So we've got this beautiful antique Union Jack flag. Absolutely, the history behind this, I cannot begin to tell you. Sam will
because
tell
you
the
can't
history.
remember?
What's the history of this one?
I think we distressed it for a shoot. I think it was a practice for doing a much bigger one, wasn't it?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it's not a family heirloom. It doesn't have a great history behind it. It does look the part, though. Okay. There we go, and it's fabric.
And John said, how about a Brooklyn reflector to fill the shadows?
Well, personally, I'd probably get a pizza box if I had that choice. But you know, who knows where you can get those from.
Dan has said, don't forget to give the video a like. So we've got 338, a bit more than that on mine, and only 154 likes. Yeah, go and give us a like, please.
Yeah, that would be lovely. We'd appreciate that. I always forget that. I actually forget half the time that we're supposed to be doing this. This is work. Okay. Yeah, do you want to stand in the circle of shame? No, there's just a circle, just a circle.
I take back my comment.
It's too late. It's live. You can't trust me. You can never take it back. This way, quite a way. A little bit more. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. So, lighting there. I'm going to try and light Sophie independently of the background. I'm going to pop this near your chin, which basically is a posh way of saying I'm going to make the background go black so I can add my own lights. So let's try 1/16th power. 1/16th power, F5, pretty close. Let's take that up a little bit. Let's go back to colour, because this is definitely a colour picture. Okay, so there we go. That is Sophie independently lit from the background. And then if I turn the background on, and we'll put it pretty low. I might go all the way down to 5/12th power. Let's try that. I definitely want to go brighter than 5/12th. What was I thinking? Let's try 64th. And let's take the grid off of that because I can see what's happening now. Missing completely. Grids are great until you forget where they're aiming, and then not so good. Okay, so if you're just joining us, well done, you've got 10 minutes left, you're okay, and the best is still to come, I'm sure. Who knows? We're using fabric in different ways to create different backgrounds and different effects. Yeah, that makes more sense now. At the moment, we're using a low-cost flag that we distressed against a low-cost fabric blanket and using that as a background just to create some fun effects. For those that are interested, I have the Union Jack the right way round. I'd just like to point this out to my fellow countrymen. That's the way round, okay? Just take note. Not that it bothers me ever. I've never really been bothered about that. Okay, awesome. Should do a few horizontals as well. Even though we don't have room for horizontals, I might want to crop this square. Beautiful. Let's go right up against it. Let's just move you back. Let's move you in here. We'll turn that one off. Oh, off. There we go. It's always a good idea just to move your feet a little bit, just to try see what happens if. Beautiful. Cool. Somewhere I've got a fun colour. Let's try a little bit of a colour effect. That's black and white. That's the wrong settings. That's presets. Every time you choose a preset, it goes back to whatever you did last on that preset. That's my excuse. There we go. Cool, love it. Last one. Go vertical. Okay, cool. How are we doing? Questions, are we okay? All right, last one then. Let's motor on through this. So let's get this out of the way. So we've had a look at using plain fabric just to make a plain blank background. We've had a look at using textured fabric and blankets and rugs to create more interesting backgrounds. The last way I'm going to use fabric in the studio is interactively. Interactively? I think that's a word. Do you want to just step away, Sophie, and I will just remove that from the background. Okay. 1, 2. Right, okay.
So we've had a few people say, isn't a Union flag unless it's on a ship's stern?
Yeah, but we are on a ship.
They can't see that though. I mean, we are moving, you know, but we're disguising it quite well, aren't we?
No, it's a Union Jack and I don't care what anyone else says. Live in, you know, that's how it is. Okay. So, Sophie, you're going to come stand. There's a circle. You might as well stand in the circle. There we go. Fantastic. I'm going to get my light really close to Sophie. Something like that, really close. The closer you get your light, the quicker the fall off of light, which means the grey background should disappear. Should. Let's pop this near your chin. Let's see how much light we're getting. Okay, here we go. So I could adjust my lights, but actually, I'm actually going to live with F8. I think that's going to work well for me. F8 in colour. Okay, let's take a little test photo, see how we look. Okay, so this is dark, moody, dramatic. The background is not there. It's completely disappeared. Sophie, do you want to just turn towards the light? Same light, same power, same everything, same exposure. I haven't changed a thing, but can you see how these two pictures are different? I mean, it's got nothing to do with what we're doing with fabric, but nonetheless, you can see how getting the direction that your subject looks in and the light position make a massive difference. And when they work together, they work really well. However, this whole live stream is supposed to be about fabric, and I've got some. I got some fabric. There we go. I got this. There we go. We've got some fabric. So this is, how's that look? Can you see anything? It's got nice kind of, yeah, I think it's called organza. Is that the right word? Yeah, organza. This is two-tone organza. So it is red in one direction, black in the other. You'll need to take my word for that because you just can't really see it on the live. But it has effectively almost like a, can you see it?
Yeah, you can.
Sort of. Yeah. It has a kind of red-black kind of thing. It's red. Anyway, the easiest way to see it is to give it to Sophie. Sophie, what you going to do? Always easy to demonstrate. Okay? Yeah. Can you do that? Do you need me to show you again?
Joe just says, does Sophie have hair have a white stripe in it?
It does indeed.
Yes.
But I can see now.
Sort of
There's a
reddy,
red
pinky
stripe,
colour
yeah.
now, yeah. Okay, so this stuff's great. It's semi-translucent. You can see through it. Light will pass through it, although it does act like a little bit of a filter, so I might need to adjust it a little bit. But what we're going to do is just take a picture, see how this goes. What my camera doesn't want to do now is focus. There we go, because it's like, face? What face? So the exposure was correct on Sophie, but now it has to pass through fabric. Fabric acts like a filter. I could put the flash meter inside the fabric, but it starts getting a little weird. So instead, I'm just going to adjust it and take control of the focus myself. Okay, there we go. So I've adjusted the flash by about 2/3 of a stop, just to give myself a little bit more of a punch of light. And I've got the eye detect turned on my camera, and to be fair, it's working. Okay, now I do need to adjust, because I'm going to get this in the picture, which isn't the end of the world. There we go. Are you right under there, by the way? Okay, great. So we're now using fabric as an interactive prop. It's now not part of the background, but part of the image. Beautiful. Fantastic. Love it. Do some verticals as well, because they're always fun. Mix them up a little bit. Go wide so you can see, always handy to have a behind the scenes for when you're doing your social media. Okay, which is pretty cool. We got 2 minutes. So this is your last chance. If you've got any questions, now is the time to get them in. It's not the only fabric I've got. We also have this, which is, well, it's dark, isn't it? So, I'm going to warn you, this has been in the loft for a while. I've just remembered there was a bit of a leak up there. So let's see if you can hold your breath for the next 2 minutes. There's a reason I've done this right at the end, because it doesn't do any favours to your subject's hair. So if you're going to do something like this, bear that in mind. Okay, so same settings, nothing's changed. Just me that's changed. Fabric that's changed. The look has changed.
So Dean asked, could you have a light coming up from the inside of the fabric?
I mean, you could. I mean, if you want to, we could do that. Sophie, I have no idea what Dean meant. So let's style this out, shall we? That's for you. Dean wants you to put a light inside the fabric.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't look at it. But this is how you find out whether things work. Dean, this is not going to work, mate. It's really not, but okay. We'll try it anyway. Here we go. You missed Halloween, Dean. That was the other day. We'll put it in black and white because never, you know, when in doubt, try black and white. Yeah, we'll take that away. I think you probably could, Dean. I'd love to see your results. Okay. So yeah, I've switched into black and white mode just to make my life a little bit more interesting, a little bit more creative, a little more dramatic. And we're going to finish this off because we have 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. Because we've got 2 lights. Let's put another light in. Let's turn it on. There we go. Not that I've ever done this by not turning the light on and rushed around and then realised it's off. I don't think any photographer's ever done that. We instinctively know to turn lights on. It's in our DNA. Okay, and let's pop that to 1/32 power. Probably going to be less because there's no modifier on that. Yeah, there we go. Turn that down a couple of stops. Beautiful. Okay. Awesome. And there we go. Let's stop there. That is fantastic. Yep, got the exposure bang on. Got your eye in there. Smashing. There we go. Look at that. Top of the hour. So, Sam, are there any questions? Anything I missed? Anything I should have covered?
No, I think you rounded it up very well.
Fantastic. So, quick recap what we did. We made a plain background, go black, go white, go grey, go coloured. We used various textured fabrics to create different looks by moving lights around a little bit. We used a flag, which is fabric, and then we threw fabric over Sophie's head. Yeah. So that brings us to the end of our little live stream. Hopefully you found that useful. If you have and you haven't given it a thumbs up and you've made it this far, especially if you're watching the recording, then you know, give us a thumbs up because I guess you've enjoyed something. Give it up for the amazing Sophie. Woo! Fantastic. On the Super Switcher was Freya, and on the comments it's Sam. Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining in, everyone. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for answering questions when we didn't get to them. And hopefully we'll catch you again in, was about 6 weeks?
6 weeks?
Something like that, isn't it, for a live?
Honestly, apparently there's some holiday in a couple of weeks' time in America. I don't know what it is. End of November as far as I'm aware, but that's fine. But if you can't wait 6 weeks, you don't have to, because in 2 hours over on the Adorama events channel, we have a whole nother live stream, not me, obviously, a whole nother live stream going on, so head over there, see Seth, say hello from me. All right, that brings us to the end of the live stream. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.